So welcome for Technology for Teaching and Learning. And sa mga hindi nakakakilala sa akin, I'm Sir Mark Lester John A. Sagun, but you can call me Sir Mark. Typically sa mga board exams, yung technology for teaching and learning, medyo konti lang lagi yung questions, no? Minsan nga 7 lang, parang dumating sa time na 7 lang, 15, ganyan. But since kasi yung technology for teaching and learning, integrated na yung mga kumbaga parang integrated na sa kanya yung iba't iba pang mga prof ed subjects. Kaya minsan nag-aagawan kami talaga sa mga questions, okay? So based dyan sa PDF ninyo, may mga certain questions dyan na for Gen Ed and also for Prof Ed. Sir, paano po naging Gen Ed yung Edtech? Actually, ang Gen Ed is yung ICT or information and communications technology subject wherein pinag-uusapan or kino-cover yung what is computer, no, what are the parts of computer, how to use computer. So yun yung pinag-uusapan dyan sa ICT. But first, let's talk about the general education in your general education PDF. Okay? So are you ready? Let me know on the chat box if you are ready. Please type ready. So kung ready na kayo, no, paki-type po sa chat box ready. All right. So mukhang ready na talaga yung lahat. Ayan, very good. So, yun, na-miss namin kayo, no? So ngayon talagang yan. Na-miss namin kayo and hopefully hindi lang kayo dito sa review ready, no? So dapat ready na din kayo for your licensure exam for teachers. All right? So magsimula na po tayo. Mukhang ready na po kayong lahat as a friend. So bakit ba? Ito yung tema ng ano natin. Ba't ba ito yung tema ng ano natin, ng lecture natin ngayon? Ready as a friend. Okay, let's go. Yan. Buksan ko lang yung chat box ko para nakikita ko yung mga responses ninyo. So, yan na. Mag-review na tayo as a friend. Okay, mga friends. Number 15. So, let's answer number 15. Sabi dito, Alt. So, nakikita nyo ba yung Alt dyan sa keyboard ninyo? Okay, can you confirm dyan sa keyboard ninyo? Meron bang Alt dyan? Okay, so dapat merong Alt dyan, no? Kasama yan doon sa standard na keyboard natin. Alt is the symbol of this, Alt is the symbol of this keyboard button. Okay? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng Alt doon sa keyboard button? Is it letter A, backspace? Is it letter B, Alter key? Is it letter C, Enter key? Is it letter D, Control key? So unahin natin what is A, backspace. Pag sinabi nating backspace, no, nagde-delete siya papunta sa left. Alright? So nagde-delete siya papunta sa left. On the other hand, yung ano naman niya, yung kabaliktaran niya is yung delete button. Yung delete button naman, yan yung nagde-delete papuntang right. So kung ano man yung word or ano mang letter yung nasa right niyo, pag pinindot niyo yung delete key, so ang ma-erase ay yung nasa right na character. On the other hand, yung backspace papunta sa left, so nagdi-delete siya. Hindi yan yung ibig sabihin ng Alt key. Is it the Alter key or tinatawag din nating alternative? Kasi tatandaan ninyo yung bawat buttons, no, diyan sa keyboard ninyo, meron din siyang iba pang mga kasama. Like for example, is yung number 1. Di ba? Yung number 1 dyan sa keyboard ninyo. Pag pinindot nyo yung Alt key, sige nga, punta kayo sa chat box. Pwede bang pagsabay nyo yung Alt tapos number 1? Pwedeng alternative, no? So, Alter key is the alternative of the, for example, for number 1, baka biglang may mga controls dyan eh, pag dyan sa number 1, wag nyo nang pindutin. Okay. All right. So alter key is also means it also mean alternative key. Okay? So actually yung alter key, ibig sabihin talaga niyan is alter key, which is letter B. Okay? And then next is letter C. enter key. Alright? So yung enter key naman, ginagamit natin yan for line space or if we want to enter something into the computer. And then next is the control key para naman to sa mga commands. Okay? So the answer here is the answer for number 15 is letter B, alter key. So may mga alt ano kasi diyan, may mga commands no na hindi bukod sa letters or characters na nakikita natin sa mga keyboards natin. So may mga commands din na pwede tayong gamitin through alt and then sabay siya nung other keys. So the answer here is letter B. Tama po kayo. Next. Ayan. Next is number 20. Activities connected by a computer system are described as. No? So yung mga nangyayari dahil magkaka-connect yung mga computer. Ano pong tawag doon? Okay, is it letter A, virtual, letter B, distance, letter C, network, letter D, online? So what's your answer? So the answer here is letter C, network. Okay? So pag sinabi nating network, ito yung resulta ng interconnections ng mga computers. Okay? So pag interconnected yung mga computers at merong activity na nangyayari doon, ang tawag po doon ay letter C, network. Alright? So next. Yan, network. Next is number 30. O, ito naman. Which keyboard combination is used to open a document in Windows operating systems? Ano daw yung shortcut key na ginagamit natin para mag-open ng document sa Windows? Okay, is it letter A, Control V, letter B, Control S, letter C, Control D, or letter O, Control O? So what's your answer? Okay, very good. The answer here is letter what? Very good. Letter D. It means, control open or control O. Yung control V, that is for paste. Control C is for copy if you want to copy something. But if you want to paste it sa document ninyo, so ang mangyayari doon yun, control V yung gagamitin ninyo. If you want to save your document, so what you're going to do is to click Control S. Alright? And then, itong Control D, nakalimutan ko anong ibig sabihin na itong Control D na to. Iba-iba yung pwede. Okay, so for Control D. So search natin yan mamaya and then balikan ko kayo dyan. So Control D. Pag Control O naman, yan yung ginagamit for open. Okay? So yan. Kasi yung Control D, parang hindi ko pa, nakalimutan ko na kung anong ginagamitan ko dyan sa Control D na yan. Duplicate, pwede din, but hindi kasi siya common na ginagamit. Alright, ayun o, iba-iba. Copy and paste downward, fill down, sir. Alright, sige. Balikan ko kayo dyan. Yan, iba-iba, delete. So for every operating system kasi nag-iiba-iba. Madalas yung D kasi hindi siya masyadong ginagamit. Alright, number 36. So this is modern technology's response to messages previously sent over couriers or post offices. So ito yung mga laging kwento sa atin ng mga lolo't lola natin na nagkakilala sila, nang dahil sa pen pal sila, tama ba po? Pero ngayon, nagbibigayan na lang kayo ng mga emails ninyo, and kapag nag-send ng email yung isa as a friend, matatanggap ng isa as a friend din, So, pero dati, nung wala pang emails, nung wala pang instant messaging, wala pang messenger, so dati nagbibigayan, nagsusulat, Kaya nga dati uso yung, alam niyo yung mabangong ballpen? Sino dito yung nakaranas na bumili ng mabangong ballpen? Tapos yung stationery na papel na merong mga design, di ba? And mabango din yung stationery papers na yon. So ganun yung uso dati. Tapos may design din yung mga envelopes. Pupunta ka sa or i-drop mo yata, may mga drop boxes, hindi ko na siya kasi masyadong naabutan. But ganun yung palitan ng mga messages dati, no? Hindi kagaya ngayon, uy, nasaan ka? Alis tayo as a friend. Okay? Uy, nasaan ka? Punta tayong Baguio as a friend. Okay? Pero yon, dati parang ilang weeks bago makarating yung messages, no, from one person to another person. So ngayon, ano yung katumbas niyan? No? So ano yung katumbas ng messages, no, na sinesend via couriers or post offices? Yes, very good. May mga stamps din. So ano yung katumbas niya today? Is it letter A, e-shopping, B, e-registry, C, email, or letter D, Freilocracia or Freilocracia? Okay, is it letter A, e-shopping, B, e-registry, C, email, or letter D, Freilocracia? Actually, yung Freilocracia, hinanap ko siya, sinearch ko siya kasi hindi naman siya related talaga sa technology. Pag sinabi daw Freilocracia, it is a government run by friars o mga praile. So hindi siya hindi siya belong dyan. So ika-cancel na natin yan agad. Pag sinabi naman natin e-shopping, no, ito yung mga e-commerce like yung Lazada, di ba? Yung Shopee, kakatapos lang nung 99, which is hindi naman yan yung ang function ng e-shopping is not it's not, 'di ba? Hindi siya pagsisend at pagre-receive ng message. Yung e-registry naman, pwedeng i-registry sa COMELEC, pwedeng i-registry sa National ID System, but the answer here in number 36 is actually letter C, email, no? Sa ngayon, yan na yung katumbas niya, yung email. Pero kung mas gusto ninyo is yung mas trend ngayon talaga, and yung mas season talaga ngayon ay yung instant messaging, which is yung Telegram, Messenger. So yan. All right, so the answer here for 36 is letter C, email. All right, tapos na tayo sa Gen Ed na PDF. Now let's go to professional education PDF. Sabi ko sa inyo, konti lang dito sa Edtech eh. But I prepared additional questions na pwede nating pag-practicean tonight. So number 2, how can television be optimally used in the classroom? Alam naman natin na yung television, marami siyang functions, no? Isa sa functions niya ay entertainment. Pero ngayon, the question is, paano na magagamit natin si television sa classroom o sa pag-aaral? Is it letter A, TV viewing to entertain the students? Related ba yan sa education? Is it letter B, TV viewing to replace the absent teacher? Do you think yung trabaho talaga ng television, magpanood ng television dahil absent si teacher? Or letter C, TV viewing with cuts and explanation. So pinopost mo sa mga very important portion nung documentary, for example, and then you explain. Or letter D, TV viewing for the whole 1-hour class. Kasi siguro tinatamad si teacher kaya nagpa-TV viewing na lang. So naalala ko yung mga elementary tsaka high school, no? Talagang yung mga estudyante, teacher, pwede po bang manood na lang tayo? Ganyan. But the answer here is actually, tama kayo, letter C, no? So yung TV, pwede siyang gamitin sa classroom educationally sa pamamagitan ng may ipapanood ka sa kanila na very relevant na documentary or very relevant na video, and then ikakat mo siya dun sa mga ideal or dun sa mga important parts ng video, and then i-explain mo sa kanila bakit ganun, no? Or kung hindi naman ikaw yung mag-i-explain, pwede mong itanong sa kanila kung bakit ganun, no? And then you facilitate kung ano yung sagot ng estudyante. Which is yan yung isa sa mga pinakamagandang techniques, no, when it comes to utilizing television inside the classroom. So the answer here is letter C, viewing with cuts and explanation. Next, yan. So when word processors, spreadsheets, graphic design applications, and desktop publishing softwares are used, what technology is present? So kung mapapansin ninyo, no, marami tayong sinabi na uri ng mga software. Una, word processor, pangalawa, spreadsheet, graphic design applications, and desktop publishing software. Ano kayang mga klaseng software yan, no? So what technology is present? Ano ba yung mga tool na yan? Is it an analyzing tool? Ginagamit ba siya to analyze? No? Ginagamit ba siya for statistics? Lahat yung mga yan. Is it letter B for encoding? No? Hindi siya pwedeng for encoding kasi merong graphic design applications. Pwede sana kung word processor, spreadsheet, or desktop publishing. Hindi rin sila pwedeng analyzing kasi lahat sila walang kakayahan to analyze data. No, isa lang, spreadsheet lang ang may kakayahan dyan to analyze data. Is it letter C? Productivity tool daw yan. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating productivity tool, ito yung mga softwares na nag-i-increase ng productivity natin. Ito yung mga madalas na ginagamit sa mga offices. Or letter D, lahat ba yan may kakayahan to calculate? No? Pero base dito sa mga nakikita ko, spreadsheets lang ang may kakayahang mag-calculate. So, what do you think is the answer? Is it letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Tama si Sir Philip. Yung mga yan ay pwedeng Microsoft Offices, pero yung graphic design application, hindi naman yan Microsoft Office. But the answer here actually is letter C, productivity tools. Alright? So pag sinabi nating productivity tools, ito yung mga software na tumutulong sa atin to become productive para magawa yung mga bagay na ginagawa sa office. Mag-encode, no? Mag-analyze ng data, mag-calculate ng data, gumawa ng mga newspaper, ng mga flyers. So, yung mga yan, ang tawag po dyan is letter C, productivity tool. Alright? So that's for number 3. Next, number 29. Okay, so ito this is very relevant today. If children become obsessed to gadgets, which is yun na yung talagang minsan tayo nga obsessed na tayo minsan sa gadgets, di ba? Parang pagising pa lang natin, ang una na nating titignan ay gadgets, di ba? And then kung mapapansin ninyo, mga daliri ninyo may kalyo na nang kakahawak ninyo sa mga gadgets ninyo. Ngayon, kapag yung children ay sobrang obsessed sa gadgets, ano sa tingin ninyo yung aspect, no, ng family life na pwedeng mag-suffer? Okay? Is it letter A, the family social life, yung mga kaibigan, mga kumare, no, mga kumpare ba ng mga nanay at tatay nyo, mga kaibigan ba ng ng mga kuya at ate nyo, naapektuhan kaya yon? Family economic life, kapag sobrang na-obsess ka sa gadgets ay pwedeng bumagsak yung economic life nyo, maghirap kayo. Okay? Is it because of discipline and obedience? O ito, yan yung madalas na, di ba, problema, yung mga like for example, yung kapatid ko, pag tinatawag mo, "Hoy, baba ka na dito, ganyan-ganyan, blah, blah. Wait lang, hindi na popos yung hindi na popos yung laro ko, ganyan-ganyan." Tapos pagbaba niya, siya pagalit. Okay, so is it letter C, discipline and obedience? Or letter D, parent-child relationship? No? So, kumbaga, parang nagkakalayuan na ng loob yung parent tsaka child. So what do you think is the answer? Okay, kapag obsessed na sa gadgets, ano yung mainly na naaapektuhan? A, B, C, or D? Okay? So the answer here, syempre, kitang-kita naman yan lagi sa mga kapatid natin, pati sa mga anak natin. Kapag masyadong obsessed sa gadgets, yung mga estudyante, ang tendency, nawawala sila sa routines. Okay? So nawawala yung disiplina nila. Yung ibang mga estudyante, ayaw na nilang mag-aral kasi gusto nila maglaro. That's discipline, di ba? Hindi kagaya natin dati kapag hindi ka nag-aral, luluhod ka sa munggo or luluhod ka sa asin, ganyan. Pero ngayon talaga, yan, dahil sa obsession sa gadgets, yung discipline tsaka obedience ng mga estudyante naaapektuhan. So that's for number 29. The answer is letter C, discipline and obedience. Alright, so number 30. O yan. Merong debate. There is a debate on whether technology can replace teachers. Oh, may question. Kapag nagle-lecture ako sa inyo, di ba? Sa tingin nyo ba yung technology can replace teachers? Sige nga, let me know on the chat box. Ngayon na nasa distance learning na tayo, okay? Sa tingin nyo ba technology can replace teachers? Do you think technology can replace teachers? Syempre hindi, no? Tatandaan ninyo, sabi ko nga sa inyo, di ba? Isa sa part ng computer is yung peopleware. Okay? So, hindi gagana ang computer nang hindi pinoprogram ng mga tao. Okay? Ganun din sa isang e-learning content o sa isang LMS, no? Hindi mabubuo ang isang LMS or hindi mabubuo ang isang e-learning content nang hindi dinedesign ng isang teacher. Okay? So hindi talaga nare-replace ng technology ang mga teachers, lalo na baka pag na-replace tayo ng teachers, mawalan tayo ng trabaho. So syempre the answer here is letter A, no, because it is only an instrument or a tool. Okay? So it is only an instrument or a tool na ginagamit natin as a medium of instruction, as a medium of communication to our students. Okay? So that's for number 30. Now, yan. So tapos na tayo dyan sa may mga PDF ninyo, no? Kasi konti lang talaga sa Edtech or baka nahalo siya sa ibang mga subjects. Kasi nga sabi ko sa inyo, yung Edtech multidisciplinary, kumbaga integrated sa kanya yung iba't ibang mga subjects pa. So maaaring yung ibang items for Edtech applicable din for curriculum, yung iba naman ay applicable din for principles of teaching, so hindi natin alam. So yan, let's go to the additional items, no? Pag-practicean natin itong mga additional items na to. Una, yan. Number 1, so pinili ko talaga yung mga medyo mahihirap na mga tanong. No? Number 1, sabayan nyo kung bumasa. It is a visual model that contains levels of experiences arranged based on the level of abstraction. So anong tawag daw doon sa model na nagko-contain ng iba't ibang mga levels ng experiences, no? Based, no, yung pagkakasunod-sunod niya ay base doon sa level ng abstraction. Is it letter A, level of abstract experience? Is it letter B, SAMR model? Is it letter C, Dale's cone of experience? Or letter D, TPAC framework? Okay? So wala po tayong tinatawag na level of abstract experience. So tatanggalin po natin yung letter A. Yung SAMR naman, SAMR model, it is another model for technology integration, no? So yan, yung SAMR, ginagamit din siya sa Edtech, but ang kanyang theme is all about technology integration. Yung letter C naman, Dale's cone of experience, yan po yung tamang sagot. Okay? So yung Dale's cone of experience, cone shape siya, and then binubuo siya ng iba't ibang mga levels, no? The more na umaakyat yung cone, the more na nagiging abstract ang experience, at the more na bumababa yung parte ng cone, the more na nagiging concrete yung experience. Let us differentiate what is concrete experience and what is abstract experience. Pag sinabi nating abstract experience, ito yung mga experience na it's more of the mind yung gumagana. It's all about reading, it's all about writing, no? So yan yung yan yung abstract. It's more of symbols, no? So text, no, audios, ganyan. Yan yung mga abstract. Pero pag sinabi naman natin concrete experience, we are referring to the kind of experience that includes the five senses. Okay? So ano ba yon? Mga sense of sight natin, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of touch, sense of smell, no? So lahat 'yan natatouch sa sa concrete experience. At isa sa example ng concrete experience ay yung direct purposeful experience. Ibig sabihin ng direct purposeful experience, first-hand na experience mo. Like for example is your on-the-job training, di ba? Sa on-the-job training, hindi na lang kayo nagkukunwa-kunwarian. Kasi sa on-the-job training, talagang pumasok ka sa totoong eskwelahan at nagturo ka sa totoong mga estudyante, no? At tinuruan ka ng mga totoong teachers, no? Yun yung tinatawag nating direct purposeful experience. So the answer here in number 1 is Dale's cone of experience. Yung letter D naman, TPAC framework, it is a framework ng mga teachers na sinasabi dito na yung mga teachers daw meron dapat 3 na primary knowledge, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na technological knowledge, which is dapat yung teacher maalam dapat sa technology. Meron tayong tinatawag na pedagogical knowledge, very good. Pag sinabi nating pedagogical knowledge, ang teacher dapat maalam sa mga advanced approaches, methods, strategies in teaching. At meron din tayong tinatawag na very good ulit, content knowledge, wherein dapat ng teacher maalam sa content niya, sa kung ano yung itinuturo niya, no? Sa subject matter na tinuturo niya. So yun yung sinasabi dyan sa TPAC framework. But on number 1, the answer here is Dale's cone of experience. Alright, number 2. Ito, number 2 na tayo. This is when you fully know, when you know fully about your lesson, objectives, and lesson content. Alin kaya dito sa mga steps na to na nagsasabing dapat alam mo dapat fully yung lesson, yung ituturo mo, yung objectives mo, yung lesson content mo? Is it letter A, prepare yourself, B, prepare your students, C, prepare your material, or letter D, prepare the classroom? My question is, mahalaga ba ang pagpe-prepare kapag teacher ka? No? Actually, mas mahaba pa nga yung preparation natin kaysa sa implementation ng content natin mismo. Tama ba ako? Gagawa tayo ng syllabus, gagawa tayo ng learning plan, gagawa tayo ng module. That is how you prepare yourself. Okay? Pinag-aaralan mo yung lesson mo kasi nga, di ba sabi sa TPAC framework, dapat alam mo yung content mo. Alam mo dapat kung paano magturo. Alam mo kung paano yun ituro. Alam mo kung ano yung ituturo mo. So, requirement yan na you know fully about your lesson objectives and also your lesson content. So the answer here is letter A, prepare yourself, no? So prepare yourself, magplano ka, i-prepare mo yung sarili mo, no? So yun, that's the answer for number 2. Kasi nga sabi nila, 'di ba, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Ganun din. Pag hindi ka nakapag-prepare, magfe-fail ka din, no? So mahalaga sa mga teachers na dapat nagpe-prepare tayo. At sabi ko nga, no, mas mahaba pa yung preparation natin kaysa dun sa lesson proper mismo. Alright, and minsan kapag nagpre-prepare din tayo, hindi nasusunod, no? And ang ginagawa natin dapat kung hindi nasusunod kasi may mga circumstances na nangyayari. So ang gagawin natin, i-revise natin kung ano yung plano natin, no? So yung mga plano naman natin, tentative yan eh. So ang mahalaga, nagplano ka at inaral mo kung ano yung objectives mo. Ang mahalaga pa din, alam mo yung objectives mo kahit maiba yung strategy mo. Kasi yung mga learning competencies, yan yung importante. Next, number 3. Ito. Alin sa mga ito, the following are examples of direct purposeful experience, except alin daw dito ang hindi example ng direct purposeful experience? Sabi ko sa inyo, yung direct purposeful, first hand, no, nararanasan mo, na-experience mo kung paano siya gawin, no? Alin daw dito? Sabi ko rin sa inyo, yung pag-direct purposeful experience, mas natatop yung 5 senses ninyo. Is it letter A, tasting Filipino dishes? Letter B, playing basketball. Letter C, reading and writing research. Letter D, science experiments. So tama po kayo. The answer here is letter C, reading and writing research. Okay? So kasi pag reading and writing research, it's more on abstract experience, no? It's more of symbols kasi nagsusulat ka, nagbabasa ka. So, yun. Okay? So, yan. That's the answer for number 3, letter C, reading and writing research. Next, number 4. O, ito, ICT naman tayo. It refers to the set of commands set to run a system. Ano daw yung nagko-command sa hardware o sa system? Ano daw tawag doon sa mga code sa loob ng system? Sa mga commands sa loob ng isang computer? Is it letter A, hardware, B, software, C, peopleware, D, courseware? So we have 3 major parts of the computer. These are the hardware, software, and peopleware. Pag sinabi nating courseware, ito yung mga software na ito yung mga software na ang function niya is to educate. Yun yung tinatawag ng courseware, no? So yan yung ang laman ng courseware madalas, mga modules, mga educational videos, mga e-learning content. So ang titignan na lang natin dyan ay si A, si B, tsaka si C. So the answer here for number 4, set of commands, if we are referring to the set of commands or set of instructions inside the computer, so the answer here is letter B, software. Okay? The answer here is letter B, software. Next, number 5, the goal of integrating technology in the instruction is, ano ba talagang goal ng pag-i-integrate ng technology sa loob ng klase? Is it letter A, interactive, meaningful, and collaborative learning? Is it letter B, para magsarili ang estudyante, solitary and self-helping, independent learning? Is it letter C, inefficiency of teachers? No, i-replace na natin daw yung mga teachers kasi incompetent daw, inefficient daw sila. Or is it letter D, disregard development of creative and critical thinking? So ang goal ba ng integration ng technology sa instruction ay i-disregard yung pag-develop ng creative at critical thinking skills, no, ng mga estudyante. Of course, ang goal ng integrating technology in the instruction is that dapat maging interactive, no? Kaya nga ginagamit din natin yung ginagamit natin yung chat box para makapag-interact tayong lahat. Tama si Raven, no? So, kung mapapansin niyo yung B, yung C, tsaka yung D, negative yung mga implications nilang lahat. Pero dito sa letter A, it's positive. So, the answer here, syempre, is letter A. Okay? So, yung mga techniques na tinuturo sa inyo ni Sir Noy, yun. So, gamitin nyo yan. So, pero hindi goal ng hindi goal ng technology na paghiwa-hiwalayin tayong lahat, no? Hindi siya solitary and self-helping. Hindi rin din siya para i-replace yung mga inefficient na teacher. At lalo nang hindi tayo gumagamit ng technology para i-disregard yung development ng creative and critical thinking. So, the answer here is letter A for the number 5. Next, number 6. Okay? For the number 6, which do you think, which of the following do you think that does not refer to educational technology? Alin sa tingin nyo dito sa mga senaryo sa ilalim ang hindi tumutukoy sa Edtech? Ano ba yung Edtech, sir? Pag sinabi nating Edtech, it is the application of technology in teaching and learning, no? So, una, is it letter A, no? Use of spreadsheet to compute for business sales. Is it letter B, watching videos to ease boredom? Letter C, use of air conditioning system to teach temperature. Is it letter D, surfing the internet to search for a lifetime partner? Una sa lahat, mali yata yung question, no? Parang dapat wala yung salitang not, no? Minsan sa mga licensure exam for teachers, nagkakaroon po tayo ng mga typographical errors o mga grammatical errors. Kung mapapansin nyo dito, tatlo sa options natin, ayan, tatlo sa options natin ang hindi tumutukoy sa Edtech at isa lang ang tumutukoy sa Edtech, which is gagamitin siya for teaching. So I think mali yung question dito. Dapat ang question dito is which of the yan yung tinatawag na critical thinking, mga kapatid, no? Basahin mo yung question, intindihin mo yung question, intindihin mo din yung options, no? Nag-congruent ba sila, no? Pero pero napansin natin, hindi, that's critical thinking. Hindi ka lang basta tingin ng tingin sa question at sagot ng sagot. Okay? So tignan mabuti yung question. Which of the following that does not refer to Edtech? Pero mapapansin natin, tatlo yung sagot dito. Isa lang yung positive, no? So tatanggalin natin which of the following statement does which of the following statements refer to Edtech? So the answer here is letter C, no? So mapapansin natin yung letter, ayan, no, tignan mo, mali din yung sagot tuloy. The answer here is letter C. Palitan natin. Okay? Ayusin natin yan. Letter E yung sagot. Pwede din naman. Pero yan, i-correct natin yung tanong. Okay? At i-correct din natin yung sagot. Remove. Yan, ayusin lang natin saglit. All right. So let's go back with sharing our PowerPoint again. Yeah. So which of the following statements refers to the educational or refers to Edtech? So is it letter A, use of spreadsheet to compute for business sales? Tumutukoy ba yan sa Edtech? Application ba yan sa Edtech? Okay. Is it letter B, watching videos to ease boredom? Okay. Watching videos to ease boredom. Ginagamit lang natin yung videos para mawala yung boredom natin, which is yan yung madalas na ginagawa natin ngayon kapag naboboard tayo, Netflix lang kasi wala nang sine kasi ngayon eh, no? Is it letter C, use of air conditioning system to teach temperature? Kung mapapansin natin, yung aircon, ang ginawa niya, hindi lang siya basta pagpapalamig yung ginawa niya or function niya sa loob ng classroom. Kung hindi ginamit si air condition system as an example for teaching temperature. Or is it letter D, surfing the internet to search for a lifetime partner? Alin sa tingin nyo dito ang tumutukoy sa Edtech? Pag sinabi nating Edtech, application ng technology in teaching and learning. So the answer here is letter C. So pwede natin gamitin si air condition system, no, para magturo ng temperature. Pero yung letter A, hindi yan tumutukoy sa teaching. It's all about sales eh. Yung videos naman to ease boredom, it's all about entertainment. O ito naman, yung nagsisurf ng internet, no, to search for a lifetime partner. O kaya baka may nagre-review dyan para to search for a lifetime partner. Malay nyo naman, nandito na yung lifetime partner ninyo. No? So, okay din yan. So the answer here is letter C, use of air conditioning system to teach temperature. Okay? So, yeah. Next is number 7. Teacher Leah wants to show her class a magnified picture, no? Pinalaki na picture ng Taal volcano fixed on the bond paper, no? So, magnified picture, pinalaki, and then, ayan, so naka-fix naman siya or naka-print siya sa bond paper. Which of the following should be utilized to accomplish her goal? Is it letter A, videotape? Is it letter B, slides? Is it letter C, slide projector? Or is it letter D, opaque projector? Okay? So yung videotape, hindi ko alam kung uso pa yan ngayon. VHS ba yan dati? So yan, ginagamit yung VHS, dapat nakakonect siya sa television, ipapasok lang yung yung tape and then gagana na siya. Yung slides naman yan yung yung may mga maliliit na box na ganon and then may ilaw and then tatama sa kanyang ganon. And then para siyang projector na traditional. May mga slides na may mga picture and then may ilaw na tatama sa kanya and then itatama naman yun doon sa sa pader. Yun naman yung sa slides. Is it letter C, LCD projector, which is yan yung digital ngayon, no? And or letter D, opaque projector. But since meron tayong sinasabi ditong bond paper, and which is bond paper could also be, yan yung tinatawag na, nasa isip ko na, bigla pang nawala. Alam niyo transparent na transparent na bond paper. Ano nga bang tawag doon? Yung transparent na bond paper. Naalala nyo ba yun? Acetate. Very good. Yan. So, pinagpiprintan yun ng acetate dati. Okay? So, para siyang bond paper pero clear siya. Okay? Tapos, itatapat siya dun sa nakamag yung yung ilaw and then may mirror. Okay? So, yun yung tinatawag nating opaque projector. So, the answer here, since merong bond paper na sinabi, no, hindi nga lang transparent yung sinabi, but the answer here is letter D, opaque projector. Okay? So the answer here is opaque projector because of the word bond paper. All right. Next, number 8. Ito naman. Which of the computer-based system instructional tool can help you revise written work such as short stories and essays? So alin kaya dito sa mga to ang pwede nating gamitin para i-edit yung mga written works natin katulad ng short stories tsaka essays? Is it letter A, word processor? Is it letter B, database? Is it letter C, spreadsheet? Or letter D, desktop publishing? Okay? So pag sinabi nating word processor, ginagamit natin yan, ang function niya is to edit actually textual information. Katulad niya ng mga nasa scenario natin, short stories and essays. Okay? So yung word processor, yun po yun. Ginagamit siya to edit textual information. Pag sinabi naman nating database, lalagyan siya ng data. No? Lalagyan siya ng data, storage siya ng data. Pag sinabi naman nating spreadsheet, it has rows and columns and it is being used to organize, to calculate, and to analyze data. Okay, that's for spreadsheet. And then for desktop publishing naman, ginagamit to for sa paggawa ng mga newspaper, sa paggawa ng mga flyers, sa paggawa ng mga brochures, anything na graphical. So ginagamit siya ginagawa siya sa desktop publishing. So but kapag ang tinutukoy natin is to edit or to revise written work, so the answer here is letter A, word processor. Okay? So the answer for number 8 is letter A, word processor. Next, number 9. Ito medyo mahaba to, mga kapatid. So the following are the roles of information technology in education which is not. So naka-emphasize dyan. Alin ang hindi? No, not kasi yung nasa dulo. So alin dyan ang hindi role ng IT sa education? Is it letter A, mobile devices that utilize information and communication technology give students and teachers more sources of information which makes learning more accessible? So binibigyan daw dahil sa technology, nabibigyan or napoprovide ng mga teachers tsaka students ng napakaraming sources ng information kagaya ng internet, no? Is it letter B? Ito, role ba siya ng IT sa education? Yung mga staff members, they can find and send transcript information and other records quickly by accessing a digital filing system. saving time and paper. O yung mga staff members naman yung tinutukoy dyan, nakakapag-send down ng transcript information. May kinalaman kaya yan sa education? Yun yung tanongin nyo. Is it letter C? Yung ICT daw, it opens the doors for better distance learning programs, allowing those in disadvantaged areas to have access to the same education as the privileged. Para daw dun sa mga malalayo ang lugar, yung ICT daw, siya yung nagbibigay ng way para yung mga nasa malalayong lugar, matuto din, no? Or is it letter D? Teachers can enter grades and assignment in their class records, saving electricity from computers. So which do you think is your answer? Is it letter A, mobile devices? Ayan, yung letter A, mobile, hindi ko nababasahin, ang haba. Is it letter B, staff members? Is it letter C, nagbibigay ng way para yung mga malalayong lugar makaabot din sa education? Or letter D, teachers can enter grades and assignment in their class records. Kung mapapansin niyo, no, yung tatlong option dyan, it talks about education. It talks about the teacher, it talks about the student, it talks about education, it talks about assessment, pero meron lang dyan isang option na hindi man lang tumukoy sa teacher tsaka sa student, which is, yes, the correct answer here is letter B. Okay? Yung staff members, nakaka-find sila ng mga data, nakakapag-send sila ng transcript information and other records quickly just by accessing their digital filing system. Walang kinalaman yan sa education kasi nga ang tawag ang sabi dito sa question, alin dyan ang hindi role ng IT sa education? Pag sinabi nating education, it refers to teaching and learning, no? So the answer here is letter B kasi wala siyang kinalaman in teaching and learning. Okay, number 10. Ito. Which of the following activity integrates technology to education? Alin daw sa mga ito, alin daw sa mga activity na to na ang nag-i-integrate ng technology sa education? Okay? Is it technology is mostly being used by the instructor? Dapat ba ang technology ay laging instructor ang may gamit? Is it letter B? Technology is mostly being used by the student. Dapat ba si students din ang laging may hawak ng technology? Is it letter C? Technology is just, purely for the sake of using technology. Para lang makagamit tayo ng technology kasi uso no? So, letter D. Technology is used to complete lower order thinking skills. Kung mapapansin natin yung C at D, yan lang yung negative. Wait lang, ubula ako. Alright, so hindi tayo gumagamit ng technology kasi yan lang yung uso. No? At lalo nang hindi tayo gumagamit ng technology kasi gusto lang natin ng lower order thinking skills, puro memorization, yung mga ganyan. So, maaaring ang sagot ay pwedeng kay letter A tsaka kay letter B. Technology is mostly being used by the instructor, or technology is most being used by the student. So, what is your answer? Is it letter A or letter B? Integration, no? Integrates technology to education. Iisipin nyo lagi, ano na bang klaseng education yung meron tayo ngayon? It's 21st century learning. At ano ang pinopromote ng 21st century learning? Is it teacher-centered teaching? Ang pinopromote ba ng 21st century ngayon ay teacher-centered teaching? Yes, ang pinopromote ng 21st century teaching, 21st century ngayon is learner-centered. Kaya tayo gumagamit ng technology in education para yung mga estudyante maging parte sila ng active process ng teaching and learning. So the answer here is letter B. Kaya tayo nag-i-integrate ng technology sa education, no? Kasi, di ba, Dahil gusto natin ma-involve yung estudyante sa active process ng teaching and learning. Okay? So the answer in number 10 is letter B. Okay? So yan. Kapag si teacher ang laging gumagamit, di ba? Pinag-usapan natin yan sa levels of technology integration. Entry level ka lang kapag madalas, mostly, teacher ang gumagamit ng technology. No, entry level lang 'yun. Pero pagdating sa adaptation, sa infusion, tsaka transformation, yung estudyante, they are taking part, no? They are taking an active part, no, in teaching and learning. Sila na mismo yung gumagawa. Sila na mismo yung nag-iisip. Sila na mismo yung namimili ng technology tool na pwedeng gamitin for a specific activity. So the answer for number 10 is letter B. Technology is mostly being used by the students. You have to take note of that as a teacher, no? Next, number 11. Ito. What is the initial stage in educational technology? Ano daw yung initial stage in Edtech, no? Kumbaga, parang ano yung sinauna, ano yung mga nakaraan pang stage or naunang stage ng Edtech? Is it letter A, coupled with use of teaching aids like charts, maps, symbols, models, specimens, and concrete materials? Is it letter B, associated with electronic revolution, with introduction and establishment of sophisticated hardware and software? Is it letter C, linked with the development of mass media, which in turn led to communication revolution for instructional purposes? Next, discernible by individualized process of instruction, the invention of programmed learning and programmed instruction provided a new dimension to educational technology. So kung mapapansin natin, no, ang titignan natin dito sa tanong, ano daw yung initial stage, no? Kumbaga ano yung sinaunang stage ng EdTech? Kung mapapansin natin yung tatlo diyan, no, talagang sobra na yung yung paggamit ng technology, ang advance ng paggamit ng technology. Isa lang po diyan yung makaluma, no, na paggamit ng technology at ano yon? Sige nga, put it on the chat box as a friend. Okay, very good. The answer here is, ayan, the answer here is letter A. The initial stage of EdTech o yung makalumang EdTech talaga is yung gumagamit pa ng charts, ng maps, ng symbols, ng models, specimens, and concrete materials. Pero yung mapapansin nyo dun sa tatlo, no, nandiyan na yung mga yung mga talagang industrial revolution, mga technological advancement, no? So that is for number 11. The answer for number 11 is letter A. Next, number 12. Ito, which rationale of the use of technology is attributed to engagement? Alin daw dito sa mga use of technology, yung mga senaryo sa ilalim, lahat yan use of technology. Pero alin dyan ang nagpapakita ng engagement, no? Engagement ng estudyante, no? Yung talagang they are taking an active part in teaching and learning. So yun yung sinasabi nating engagement. Kumbaga involve yung estudyante, no, in the use of technology. So we are referring to the involvement ng estudyante because we are referring to the engagement. So is it letter A, using technology transforms the teacher from the authority expert to facilitator when the students are guided to use technology to find answers, no? Nagpapakita kaya yan ng engagement? Gumagamit daw ng technology, yan yung paggamit daw ng technology, tinatransform niya yung teacher sa pagiging authority expert or sa pagiging teacher-centered na papunta sa pagiging student-centered, which is facilitator, no? Is it letter B? Students are transformed from passive recipients of students' knowledge seeking and knowledge construction? Okay. Is it letter C? Students using technology become active in the learning process instead of passive listeners. Kumbaga, gumagamit sila ng technology para actively makonstruct nila yung knowledge sa sarili nila rather than tagapakinig lang sila sa mga teachers nila. Or letter D, the internet provides access to an incredible array of information, sources, media, and communications. Parang, di ba, parang out of context tong letter D. So, i-cancel na agad natin yung si letter D kasi ang tinutukoy dito, dinedefine niya what is internet, no? So, what is your answer? Is it letter A? Is it letter B? Is it letter C? Alin dito ang nagpapakita ng engagement or involvement ng estudyante in the teaching and learning process? Very good. The answer here is letter C. So si estudyante gumagamit ng technology para maging active sila in the learning process. Sa pamamagitan ng technology, kaya nilang mag-construct ng knowledge sa sarili nila. So instead ng tagapakinig lang sila sa mga teachers nila. Next. The power of C daw. Puro C ba yung sagot natin kanina pa? I'm not sure. Hindi ko nakikita yung trend. Okay? Next, number 13. Uy, thank you sa mga sumasagot dun sa mga nag-a-ask ng question kung anong answer dun sa mga particular numbers. Hindi ko na siya kasi pag binalikan natin, madadamay lahat. But thank you for those, kind-hearted people na nagbibigay ng answer sa questions. So yun, dito tulungan tayo, mag-collaborate tayong lahat as a friend. Yun na naman yung as a friend. Magtulungan tayong lahat as a friend, no? Ang totoong magkakaibigan hindi nag-iiwanan, no? Lahat kayo dapat, magtulungan tayong lahat para pumasa. Before, di ba, dapat before board exam. Pero during the board exam, wag na kayong magtutulungan, no? Bawal yun. Okay? So yeah, the power of student-centered learning. Yes, so tayo mismo, let's walk the talk. Okay? So yeah, number 13. Teacher Angel wants to supplement learning. Ibig sabihin ng supplement, enrich, no? Kumbaga, i-enrich or ano bang iba pang salita for enrich? To enrich learning for SPED class, no? Paano natin mabibigyan pa ng mga, kumbaga, pag sinabi nating supplement materials, we are referring to additional materials, okay? Na pwedeng learning resource at doon matuto pa yung mga estudyante further. So, Teacher Angel want to supplement learning for her SPED class. Which of the following may she utilize as a supplemental material? Very good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that term. Enhance. Okay. So to enhance learning, ano kaya yung pwedeng ibigay, i-provide ni teacher sa mga students niya as a supplemental material? Ibig sabihin ito yung mga additional resources para ma-enhance yung knowledge tsaka skills ng mga estudyante. Is it letter A, magazine articles? Is it letter B, mass instruction? Is it letter C, used LCD projectors? Does that enrich learning or does that enhance learning? Use slides? So the answer here for number 13 is obviously, it's letter A, magazine articles, no? Like for example is I had this experience sa Diwa na gumagawa kami ng libro, but at the same time si Diwa gumagawa din ng mga magazines as supplements or kumbaga parang as a support, no, doon sa books na ginagawa namin, no? So yung magazine, it's actually a supplemental material, additional resource para ma-further or ma-advance pa ng estudyante yung skills or knowledge na natutunan niya from the book or from the teacher, okay, or from the lesson. That's for number 13. The answer is letter A. Next, number 14. Teacher Mira will borrow audiovisual aids from the library. Pag sinabi nating audiovisual aids, ano to? Ito yung mga devices or mga tools na nagpo-produce ng visual, no, and audio. Okay? Alin dito ang dapat i-remove sa requisition form ni Teacher Mira kasi hindi siya audiovisual aids. Kumbaga ang tanong dito, alin dito ang hindi audio-visual aids? Kasi ang gustong i-request ni Teacher Mira, mga audio-visual eh. So ano yung kailangang i-remove sa requisition form niya? Is it letter A, motion pictures? Mga videos ba? Is it letter B, television? Ang television ba nagpo-produce ng visual? Nagpo-produce din ng sound? Ang motion picture nagpo-produce din yan ng picture tsaka sound. Ang videotape nagpo-produce din yan ng picture tsaka sound. Pero ang specimen ba ay nagpo-produce ng picture tsaka sound? Let me know in the chat box. Is it a yes or a no? Ang specimen po, ito yung kumbaga parang parte ng whole realia, no? Kumbaga, like for example, specimen ng molave tree. So parte ng molave yung ipapakita mo. So madalas ginagamit 'yan for the laboratory, no? So yan yung chine-check doon sa chine-check sa microscope at ina-analyze, no? Yan yung specimen. And it does not produce picture. It does not produce motion. It does not produce sound. So the answer for number 14, ang dapat i-remove sa requisition form niya is yung letter D, specimens. Very good, mga teachers. Next, number 15. Ito, field trip falls under what? Okay, yung field trip daw, saan siya nagfo-fall? Is it letter A, demonstration? Is it letter B, graphic materials? Is it letter C, programmed instruction? Or is it letter D, community resources? So ano ba yung field trip na yan? Di ba pupunta ka sa isang community, i-check mo kung ano yung mga, for example, museum, o i-check mo kung ano yung mga resources ng community nila. For example, pumunta ka ng Cebu, o ano bang mga meron sa Cebu? Nandun yung mga, for example, damit ni Lapu-Lapu, yung mga sword ni Lapu-Lapu or kung ano man. So, the answer for number 15 is actually community resources. No? Kaya ka pumupunta doon kasi gusto mong makita yung resources ng community, ng local. Okay? So, yeah, field trip falls under community resources. That's the answer for number 15 is letter D. Yeah. Next, number 16. Ito. You have to state what is the best reason why we should not bring snakes, okay, in the classroom when the topic to be discussed is all about reptiles. Bakit hindi ka pwedeng ano yung rason? Bakit hindi ka pwedeng magdala ng snake sa loob ng classroom kung ang i-discuss mo naman ay reptiles? Is it letter A kasi affordable? Is it letter B kasi interesting na magdala ng snake? Is it letter C, extreme magdala ng snake? Or is it letter D, feasible magdala ng snake? So, hindi ka magdadala ng snake kasi affordable siya or mura siya. Okay? So, una sa lahat, hindi ka magdadala ng snake sa loob ng classroom kasi delikado. No? So, tatandaan ninyo, we have to protect our students kahit na sobrang, alam niyo yon, as in, maganda yung direct purposeful sana pero hindi siya appropriate kasi hindi siya safe. So hindi ka magdadala ng snake sa loob ng classroom kasi interesting, no? Kasi alam niyo yun, fun magdala kasi matatakot yung mga estudyante mo at pagtatawanan mo sila. Okay? Hindi rin extreme. So the answer here is letter D. Pag sinabi nating feasible, safe, and possible. So, posible magdala, walang magrereklamo, at safe, no? Protektado yung mga estudyante mo. But since snakes could be, could be poisonous, could be fatal, so hindi natin siya pwede dalhin. So, the answer for number 16 is feasible. Kayo ba, gusto nyo bang magdala yung teacher nyo ng snake sa loob ng ng classroom ninyo? Kayo, o papipiliin ko kayo, ano yung ayaw ninyo na dalhin ng teacher nyo sa loob ng ng classroom ninyo kasi yun yung fear nyo talaga? Ako, ayoko EPs. Okay? As in number one na ayoko talaga ng EPs. Hindi ako talaga bumababa ng, alam niyo yun, pag may lumilipad na EPs, hindi ako bumababa hanggat hindi ko nakikita yung bangkay ng EPs. Okay? Kasi ayoko talaga ng EPs. Ano sabi dito? Ayan, snake. Yung iba naman, lahat daw ng gumagapang. Cockroach, pareho tayo. Aba, si Chris Jowa. Okay. Ayaw mong dalhin yung jowa sa school. Ayan, snake. Class card na binabala sa talagang totoo yan. No? Cockroach and rat. Yes, yung X. O nga naman, X nga naman talaga. No? Lalo na yung mga bitter na X. No? Alright, so number 17. Thank you so much sa mga nag-participate. Yeah, number 17, Teacher Bianco was absent for 2 days. Okay? Yun, absent for 2 days because of flu. Lalo na ngayon, no? Talagang pag nagka-flu ka, talagang kakabahan ka, no? So which do you think is the fastest way to send her lecture to her students so they could read them? So supposedly yung estudyante mo hindi makakapasok, ano kaya yung fastest way para ma-send natin yung lecture natin sa kanila para mabasa nila yung lecture? Okay, is it letter A, i-email natin yung lecture sa students? Is it letter B, i-send natin yung lecture through their group in their social networking site? Is it letter C, blog the message? Is it letter D, send it through a courier? Okay? So, pag sinabing send it through courier, ipapadala mo via Lala Move or ipapa-post office mo. So, technically, mabagal to. No? Pwede sana si letter A, email the lectures to students, which is, I think yan yung mas tama. Pero ang tinatanong kasi dito is yung fastest way, no? And which is the fastest way here is letter B. Gagamit tayo ng social networking site. So mas mabilis na kasi ngayon at mas accessible ang social networking site kaysa sa email. There's a lot of students who doesn't know how to use email. At mas alam nila kung paano gumamit ng social networking sites. At kung alam ninyo, no, sa mga public schools, ang madalas na gamit talaga ay Messenger. So, sinisend sa Messenger or sa group nila sa school, group nila sa Facebook rather, yung mga lectures nila. So, the answer for number 17 is actually, send the lecture through their group in social networking site. However, no, I discourage it kung kaya namang sa email. Pero alam niyo na, yung bang mga estudyante kasi naka-free data lang, no? Kasi pag email, kailangan naka-data ka talaga, no? Naka-connect ka sa Wi-Fi. Pero kung kung minsan sa Messenger ipapadala, pwedeng naka-free data ka lang. But the safest, kung ang tatanungin is safest way, so the answer can be letter A, email the lectures. Kasi mas secured yung email. But kung, ayun nga, the reality is, hindi lahat privileged, no? So, tatandaan nyo na kapag nagtuturo na kayo, at alam ko yung iba dito nagtuturo na, please make sure, try to be very considerate to your students, okay? So, as much as possible, okay? Kaya nga hindi pwedeng i-replace ng computer si teacher. Kasi yung computer, gumagana lang siya by true or false, no? Pasado o hindi, passed or failed. Hindi kagaya ni teacher, yung teacher kasi may puso, no? Meron ba kayong puso? Ba't yung iba hindi ginagamit ang puso? I-send ang email sa chat box para pusuan na, magpuso na dyan ng mga puso na dyan ng Okay, yung mga teachers daw may puso. Ayan. Yung iba nga pong students, data connection failed pa. Totoo yan, no? So, yan. So, yan. Pusuan natin. Lahat ng mga teacher na may puso dyan. Alright. So, the answer here is letter B. Next, number 18. Oh, si Sir Joey, grade 4 tsaka grade 5 teacher sa Polillo, Quezon. So, medyo remote yata tong Polillo, Quezon. So, yung place na yon, o yon, meron daw rotation ng electricity. Ibig sabihin ng rotation, nagsiswitch on yung electricity from 2 p.m. hanggang 6 a.m. And then the following day, the topic he has for his lesson, this week is all about different bodies of water, no? Which audiovisual material should he use for the lesson? So dahil may rotation ng electricity, ano kaya yung pwede niyang gamitin na audiovisual material? Is it letter A, PowerPoint presentation? Is it letter B, video film? Is it letter C, transparencies? Or ito yung tinatawag nating ano uli yung kanina? Acetate. Or is it letter D? Pictures. Ulitin ko lang may rotation ng electricity, nagba-brown out. Okay, bumabalik lang ang electricity from 2 p.m. until 6 a.m. Ano kaya yung pwedeng gamitin na audio-visual material? Ano? Is it letter A, PowerPoint presentation? Ang PowerPoint presentation po ba ay nagre-require ng electricity? Yes. Okay. Ang video film po ba ay nagre-require ng electricity? Yes pa din ang sagot. Ang transparencies po ba ay gumagamit ng electricity? Yes, dahil gumagamit tayo ng opaque projector sa mga transparencies. Ang mga pictures ba nangangailangan ng electricity? Hindi. Dahil ang pictures pwedeng nakaprint sa mga papel. And since audiovisual, pag sinabi bang audiovisual, kailangan device siya. Ang pictures ba, hindi ba yung napoproduce ng visual? Okay? Audiovisual pa din po ang pictures kasi nagpo-produce siya ng visual material. Okay? So the answer here is letter D, pictures. Okay? So, yung audio kasi kailangan talaga diyan ng electricity. Okay? Teacher can do the talk. Okay? Gagawa ka ng alon, for example. All right. So, number 18, the answer is letter D, pictures. Natatawa ako sa magpapakita ka ng pictures tapos yung teacher na bahala sa audio. Talagang tunog tao. Okay. So yan. That's for number 18. Gusto ko talaga kayong mga kausap no? Talagang kayo favorite kong estudyante. Kasi yung mga estudyante kapag nasa distance learning, no, parang wala sa mga sarili, tapos hindi mo alam yung mga pinagagawa nila. Pero kayo talaga, talagang very active. Yes, mag-improvise ka na lang ng sound. Ang tawag doon onomatopeia, 'di ba? Sa figures of speech. Ayan. So, mag-whoosh ka na lang daw. Anyway, number 19. Integrating technology in the instructional process must be geared to. Ano ba yung goal ng pag-i-integrate ng technology sa instructional process? Para ba magkaroon ng interactive and meaningful learning? Para ba magkaroon ng development of creative and critical thinking? Para ba ma-develop at ma-nurture yung teamwork? Or para maging efficient and effective yung teaching? Kung mapapansin ninyo, lahat ng pagpipilian ay positive, no? Lahat yan ay goal ng pag-i-integrate ng technology sa instructional process. So the answer for number 19 is letter B, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lahat yan, goal yan ng technology, no? Pag-i-integrate ng technology sa instructional process. Very good, everyone. Galing ninyo sumagot, no? Sana magaling din tayong lahat sa love life, no? Sana nare-review din ang love life, no? So, yon. Kung nababakuna lang daw ang love life, siguro nagpa-booster ka pa, no? So, yung mga teacher ang gagaling sumagot sa let, pero ayun. Yan, boost. Alright, so yan. Number 20, which paradigm of the school that allows the teacher and learners to interact using computers? Okay? Magi-interact daw si teacher tsaka si learners through computers. So ano kaya yung tinutukoy dito? Is it letter A, computer-mediated communication? Is it letter B, computer-based teaching? Is it letter C, computer-based learning? Is it letter D, computer-based instruction? So alin yung tinutukoy dito? Sabi uulitin ko yung question, allows the teacher and the learners to interact using computers. Pag sinabi natin computer-based instruction, we are talking about e-learning, no? Kumbaga may mga modules na nag-aaral na lang si student sa pamamagitan ng computer. Ganon din sa computer-based learning, gumagamit ng iba't ibang mga technology tools, mga yung estudyante, mga softwares para matuto. Ganun din for letter B, gumagamit naman si teacher ng iba't ibang mga technology tools para magturo. So, from the word interact, no, ibig sabihin pag sinabi interact, nakakapag-communicate tayo. So the answer here is letter A, computer-mediated communication. Actually, this is a very trivial question, no? Parang kailangan mong i-define muna kung ano yung mga yan. So, pero pag sinabi nating computer-mediated instruction, ibig sabihin, gumagamit tayo ng computer as our way to communicate, no? Both teachers and learners, two-way siya. Yung computer-based teaching, computer-based learning, computer-based instructions, they are all one-way communication, no? Si teacher sa computer-based teaching, one way lang siyang nakikipag-communicate kay computer, pero hindi siya nakikipag-communicate sa estudyante. Kay computer siya nakikipag-communicate sa computer-based teaching. Sa learning naman, ang kausap din ng student ay computer. Ganon din sa computer-based instruction, lahat yan lahat yan one way, no? Pero yung computer-mediated communication, two-way yan. Si teacher nakikipag-interact kay learners at si learners nakikipag-interact kay teacher. So the answer for number 20 is computer-mediated communication. Next, number 21. Ito. Actually hanggang 25 to. A teacher who plans for instruction should consider activities and technology that are, kapag nagpaplano ka, gumawa ng instruction, no? A teacher who plans instruction should consider activities and technology that are. So ano dapat yung characteristics ng activities nyo tsaka technology nyo? Is it letter A, dapat appropriate siya sa lesson objectives? Is it number 1, appropriate dapat sa lesson objectives, appropriate dapat sa learners, appropriate dapat sa nature of lesson content, appropriate dapat sa budget ng teacher. Ulitin ko lang, ano yung primary na dapat kino-consider natin kapag gagawa tayo ng instruction? Ano dapat yung ano dapat yung characteristic ng activities tsaka ng technology appropriate to the lesson objectives, appropriate to the learners, appropriate to the nature of lesson content, or appropriate to the budget of the teacher? So the answer here is yan, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So appropriate to the lesson objectives, appropriate to the learners, appropriate to the nature of the content, appropriate to the budget of the teacher. So that's for number 21. Next, number 22. Kasi pwede rin namang dapat cost efficient yung mga instructional materials natin, di ba? So yeah, number 22. Okay? Hindi ko makita. Edgar Dale's cone of experience theorized that learners retain more information by what they do as opposed to what they heard, read, or observe. Anong ibig sabihin nito? sabi daw ni Edgar Dale, is mas nare-retain daw, mas maraming nare-retain na information sa mga learners, no? But by what they do, ibig sabihin kung ano yung ginagawa nila, this is learning by doing, no? Kapag naia-apply nila, mas maraming information yung nare-retain sa kanila kaysa sa naririnig lang nila, binabasa lang nila at na-observe lang nila. So what do you think is the implication of this? Is it number 1, do not use only one medium of communication in isolation. Rather, use many instructional materials to help the students conceptualize his experience. Tayo kasing mga teachers, minsan kinukulong natin yung mga estudyante natin sa isang box. No? Tatandaan ninyo, kaya nga tayo may multiple intelligences kasi unique ang bawat mga estudyante natin. Okay? So meaning, magkakaiba din yung mga instructional materials na applicable sa kanila. Kung hindi pa nga nag-pandemic, hindi pa ma-apply yung flexible learning, di ba? Which is yung flexible learning naman, ang minimit niya is according doon sa sa capability at saka sa technological preparedness ng mga estudyante. O kapag wala kang internet, mag-module ka. O kapag may internet ka naman, pwede ka namang mag-synchronous, no? Kung mahina yung internet mo, mag-asynchronous ka lang. So that's flexibility according to the technological preparedness or capability of the students. Number 2, avoid teaching directly at the symbolic level of thought without adequate foundation of the concrete. So wag ka daw agad na mag-abstract experience, magsimula ka dapat sa concrete experience, no, which is true, no? So madalas ngayong tatandaan nyo, ngayong distance learning, mahalaga ang learning experience, no? So ang gagawin ninyo muna, ito yung tinuturo ko sa mga estudyante ko. Ito yung tinuturo ko sa mga teachers talaga. Yung sa Kolb's experience, Kolb's experiential learning, ang unang process doon or phase is concrete experience. So ang gagawin nyo muna, yung mga estudyante, magpapa-activity ka, and after the activity, ifa-facilitate mo yung experience nila. And then, yung experience nila, yun yung magiging springboard ninyo para ituro nyo yung konsepto about doon sa mga na-observe nila at sa mga na-experience nila. It's all about tapping the experience of the students. So, tama din si number 2. Number 3, when teaching, don't get stuck in the concrete. Hindi rin naman pwedeng puro concrete. Okay? Hindi pwedeng puro experience. No, ang ginagawa mo puro ka lang pa-experiment pero hindi mo naman tinuturo yung concept behind that experiment. So strive to bring your students to the symbolic and abstract level to develop their higher order thinking skills. So lahat yan, number 1, 2, and 3, lahat yan importante. So the answer here is letter D. Okay? Kaya mahalaga na both concrete experience and abstract experience nararanasan ng estudyante natin sa classroom o sa pagtuturo natin kasi parehong mahalaga yan. So the answer here is letter D. Next, number 23. Which of the following is the role of educational technology in learning according to the traditionalist point of view? Okay? Diba sabi natin, meron tayong dalawang perspective ng Edtech. Meron tayong tinatawag na traditionalist perspective and progressivist na perspective. According to the traditionalist, yung Edtech daw ay tools as a source of information. Ibig sabihin, we are learning from the technology. No? Ibig sabihin, ang primary source ng technology, matututo ka lang through technology. Pag sinabi naman nating progressivist, we are only learning with the technology. Kumbaga, ang Edtech ay tools lamang. Okay, so is it letter A, engages learners in active, constructive, intentional, authentic, and cooperative learning? Is it letter B, it serves as a presenter of knowledge? Yung technology daw, presenter ng knowledge, kagaya ng teacher. Is it letter C, it serves as a tool to support knowledge construction? Is it letter D, it is social medium to support learning by conversing? So what is your answer? Pag sinabing traditionalist, no, na point of view, we are learning from the technology. Learning from the technology. Ibig sabihin, the source of the information is the technology. So the answer here, kapag traditionalist, for number 23, the answer is letter B. No? Yung technology tools or yung edtech, it serves as just the presenter of the knowledge, kagaya ng teacher. Okay. Next, number 24, second to the last. Sakit na lalamunan ko. All right. For the number 24, which role of technology in learning is stopped when teacher represent ends? Grabe naman, naubo lang sa swab na yan. Swab na yan. Alright. Sakit lang ng lalamunan ko. Ay, sa swab na ako. Baka ang makita dugo, di ba? Kasi nga kakasalita. Okay? So, I feel, feeling ko na-attack ako doon. Alright. Which role of technology in learning is stopped when teacher represent and simulate meaningful real-world problems, situations, and context in teaching? Ulitin ko lang. Which role of technology in learning is stopped when teacher represent and simulate meaningful real-world problems? Ibig sabihin, si teacher nagbibigay ng mga real-world problems, nagbibigay ng mga situations, nagbibigay ng mga kwento, mga konteksto sa teaching. Is it letter A, technology as context to support learning by doing? No, kung mapapansin, ayan, mamaya na. Letter B, technology as tools to support knowledge construction. Is it letter C, technology as intellectual partner to support learning by reflecting? Is it letter D, technology as information vehicles for exploring knowledge to support learning by constructing? Kung mapapansin ninyo, no, yung tatlo dito sa mga option, it's all about abstract knowledge. At yung isa dito, it's all about concrete knowledge or concrete experience. At ang tinutukoy dito, nagbibigay ng real-world problems, nagbibigay ng mga sitwasyon, no, nagbibigay ng konteksto in teaching. So the answer here is, yes, the answer here is letter A. No, 'di ba? Pag binibigyan ka ng real-world problems, na-i-apply mo yung skills mo, diba? Na-i-apply mo yung knowledge mo. So, ginagamit si technology as context to support learning by doing. So, the answer here for number 24 is letter A. Next, number 25. For number 25, what role of technology in learning is used when a teacher encourages her students to work on their assignments in groups using social media networks? Anong trabaho ni technology sa learning? Kapag si teacher, ginagamit siya or ini-encourage siya yung mga estudyante na mag-work collaboratively using social media. So is it letter A, technology as context to support learning by doing? Technology as tools to support knowledge construction, technology as intellectual partner to support learning by reflecting, or is it technology as a social medium? Ibig sabihin may interaction to support learning by conversing. Syempre, the answer here is letter D, technology as a social medium to support learning by conversing. And that ends our